welcome to another episode of the Iron Phantom's Black Book. I am your host, the Iron Phantom, and I am here to tell you another terrifying tale. Well, hopefully terrifying. Of course, we will only have one story this month. So, the story that I'm going to tell you in this episode, it is called The German. I hope you enjoy it. In a small town, two twins named Tony and Tia live in a quiet neighborhood. And the two girls one day noticed that in the local news, two twin brothers have gone missing on the other side of town. They then notice a new neighbor moves in next door. They go across the road to greet him. The two twins say, "Hello there." The neighbor then looks and says, "Guten Tag." Oh, sorry, force of habit. My name is Hansel Lazer. "You speak with a German accent?" said Tony. "Yes, I am from Germany originally." "What brings you here?" "Well, I got a job here well, I need somewhere to live. If you excuse me, I have some unpacking to do." Then the twins' mother came and said, "Girls, let the man alone. He needs to get settled in." "It is quite all right," said Hansel. Oh, you're from Germany?" "Yes, my accent is that obvious." "Well, if you excuse me, of course. Say, what are you doing for dinner?" "Well, I was going to look into ordering a local takeaway or something, but, are you asking me for dinner?" "Well, if you like to come, and we will welcome you into the neighborhood." "Oh, how lovely," said Hansel. Later that night, he came over for dinner and said, "Well, that was absolutely exquisite." "Yes, it is, a joint ham. Well, I best be getting back home. I have my first day of work tomorrow." Later that night, around 2 a.m., Tia gets up to use the facilities. When she is finished, she goes back to bed, but notices there's a draft. Opening the curtains to close a small window, she then sees Hansel in his basement, going into it, carrying what looks like life-size bodies into his basement, and then closing it, locking it up tight. Tia then wonders what the hell is he doing, and why did he have two body-sized bags. The next morning, Tia says to Tony, "I think something's a bit off with our neighbor." "What are you talking about?" In the early hours of this morning, I got up to pee, and I then closed the curtain and saw our neighbor Hansel putting life-sized bodies in, well, what looked like life-sized. What are you trying to say?" "I don't know. But you heard in the news 2 missing twins." "Yes, that's on the other side of town, though. Still, I think we should check it out before we go to school." The two twins then look and they say, "I think this is a bad idea. Why are we going to look around the house?" Because I think, why would someone be up at 3 in the morning? You're putting something in his basement and looking over his shoulder. I'm sure he has his reasons. He just moved in. I'm going to look. They then look through the small basement window and find something around, but nothing too suspicious. Then Hansel appears saying, "Can I help you two young ladies?" "Oh, sorry, we just what?" "Nothing. We just wanted to say good morning to you before we go to school." "Right, well, I was not in my basement. Now, is there anything else I can help you with?" No, said Tia, "nothing at all." Later that day, when they come home, they go to the house. Tony saying, "I still think this is a bad idea, breaking and entering. I just want to be sure. Now come on, let's climb inside. Let me know if he's coming, okay?" Then Tia looks around the house, seeing boxes everywhere. Looking around, she snoops and finds nothing until she looks in one box saying WWII, World War II. She opens it and inside she finds war diaries. Things from the war, including an armband with a swatch sticker on. She then hears her phone vibrate and answers and finds a text that says, "He's coming home." Looking outside, she sees his car pull up. She then sneaks outside of the house, taking the armband with her. Then Tony says, "Did you find anything then?" "Yes," said Tia. "I found this." What the fuck? A SWAT sticker. I think that our neighbor is a Nazi. Later, when they're in their bedroom. "So hold on, you think our neighbor is a Nazi?" "Yes, Tony. He could be a madman. He could... What if he's a mad Nazi scientist? And he kidnapped those two twin boys?" "Nonsense. Look, those twins disappeared and they're on the other side of town." "Yes, but don't you find it weird that he arrives around the same time as those twins go missing? Doesn't prove anything." "We best tell Mom." During dinner time, they have dinner, and they say, "Mom, Dad, you know we can tell you anything, right?" "Well, of course, girls. What is it you want to show us?" says their father. "We found this." "An armband?" "Yes, an armband. I think our neighbor is a Nazi." "You broke into our neighbor's house and you found that?" "Well, I'm sure he has a reason for it. It was in a box that said WW. That is enough, young ladies, okay? Tomorrow you're going to give that back to him." "But he's German. I don't want to hear another thing. I'm sure he has a reason for that. You know, the old tradition, the swastika was a symbol of good luck before the Nazis took it." "How do you know that, Dad?" History Channel. "Now we're going to do what your mother says. Apologize to him in the morning." Then, later that night, the two twins look again, this time seeing through his basement window a blind down, and in a shadow silhouette, they hear and see Hans sewing something together whilst playing German pop music. think he's got something down there. You don't think? No, he can't be a Nazi scientist. That's insane. We best keep our guard up. The next morning, they look around some more. But Hansel is not in, as he is left for work. Early that morning, the two girls do some research on him. Get a background check on Hansel. Find out that he was in medical school when he was younger, but then dropped out. And then went to university and studied history. They then think you don't suppose he is a Nazi scientist, and I don't know. But why would he be a Nazi scientist? It's the 21st century. Unless his father or someone was a scientist. Then Tony and Tia's mother say, well, looks like Hansel is not in at the moment. You'll go this evening to Mr. Lazar's house and apologize and give him his armband back, and he might explain. As the day went on, Tony and Tia came back from school, and their mother marched them across the road and knocked on the door. They then say, do we really have to? Yes, we have to. Knocking on the door. They answer. And there Hansel stands and says, yes. Sorry about this, Hansel, but my two daughters thought it would be smart to break into your home. Oh, really? Said Hansel. And they stole this. Can you explain this, though? Of course. This is, yes, an armband with a SWAT sticker on, and it is of Nazi memorabilia. I collect this because I am a history professor at the local university. What? Yes, I teach history at the local university. World War II is my subject that I am teaching at the moment. And my grandfather, well, I don't condone anything that the man did, but he saw the error of his ways and became a born-again Christian after the war, and regretted everything since. He was a changed man in his final years, and he did destroy a lot of his stuff, but I kept hold of some, 'cause I thought they would come in useful one day when I teach. But what about in med school? Med school? We did a whole background research. You went to med school and was wanting to be a surgeon. Yeah, girls, that is enough, says her mother. No, it's quite all right. Yes, girls, I went to a medical school, training to be a plastic surgeon, but then I dropped out. I was no longer financed to attend, so I had to drop out, which I found was a shame. But once I got enough money, I decided to teach history, and particularly study World War II. That is all. I can assure you I'm not a Nazi. And I am definitely not a scientist. And if I did do things to people, I'm pretty sure I would have gotten caught a lot sooner by police. The two twins then ask, what about the two missing twins on the other side of town? Yes, I heard about that, said Hansel. It is a terrible tragedy, and I hope they get found. But who knows where they are? Look, young ladies, thank you for returning this. I accept your apology, and I would ask you to keep away from my house, unless you have my permission. Then Tony and Tia's mother say, let us invite you for dinner. I shall look forward to that. When? Tomorrow evening? Of course. I still have much unpacking to do. But wait, said Tia. I saw you sewing something together. We both did. Yes. What were you sewing together? Then Hansel goes into the house and gets out a blanket. I was sewing up a blanket. It's a little hobby I like to do in my spare time. But what about the body-sized bags you were putting in your basement at 3 in the morning on your first night? I was unpacking. The movers had forgotten a few things. I went to collect them and I put them in my basement. It's just stuff that I have. Oh, well, we're sorry. Yes, I should think so. Sorry about that, Hansel. It is perfectly all right. Mistakes are made and they happen. Then Tony says to Tia, our neighbor is a Nazi scientist. Gee, I'm scared. All right, said Tia, I made a mistake. Then Hansel then retreats into his house and then goes downstairs into his basement. He then says, well then, boys, looks like you haven't been found yet, but I've come close. It is then revealed that he kidnapped the 2 missing twins and sewed them together back to back to make Siamese twins. Then saying, smile for the camera, boys, as he then takes photos and says, the fine works of Josef Mengele. Shame he never got to carry out his projects. Mind you, I could try another project with the 2 young ladies. Don't worry, boys. When I'm finished, I'll separate you both and I'll be long gone, and you will not speak a word of this to anyone. Did you enjoy that one? Did it creep you out or anything towards the end? Did you suspect that he was still lying, even though he had a good alibi? Anyway, yes, let us know what you think to the story down below in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share with your friends and feel free to subscribe to the official Random Horror YouTube channel if you're new here and you want to see more from this channel. All of the social media links are linked down below in the description. Well, that is it for this month's episode. So join me next month where it will be a Christmas special. The holiday season. So until next time, don't have nightmares.